Hello everybody, you can call me Hunch. Today I'm going to make a very important video. Now it's kind of ethereal, but it doesn't give you a lot of certainty with this video, but I want to explain to you my thought process and why I think Bitcoin DeFi is so important. So let's just dive into it. It's trying to be an educational video today, trying to be serious, okay? So let's just start with what is commodity money. Commodity money generally is, gold, silver. They say it has intrinsic value beyond just a means of exchange. Traditionally, it's gold and silver, but we've moved to a fiat system. Now, there's perks to both, right? It's commodity money is not easy to replicate, whereas fiat money is easy to send across the world easily, make business a little less friction, make it have a little less friction, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to go through a lot of these topics. So rewatch these topics quickly. So rewatch this if you need to. Now, commodity money. And in general, commodities, right, and any product in the economy has an elasticity or inelasticity to it. So, for example, a commodity with inelasticity would be oil, right? We need oil. We'll pay any price to make the economy run, essentially, or medicine or cancer drugs or whatever, right? Those are highly inelastic, right? Not really, people will pay for it no matter what. An elastic commodity is like luxury goods, entertainment, so on and so forth. Okay, so to really understand money right now, you need to look at it from that angle, right? If money is a commodity, right, whether it's gold or whether it's fiat, right, there's probably some elasticity to it, and that means there's a time value of money associated with it, right? People want to hoard money, and if they give it out, they want to return. And so on and so forth. So that's another component of it. Now, advocates for the fiat system, and he's not necessarily an advocate, this guy, his name is Jeff Snider, say money needs to be elastic, meaning and there's maybe another word for it, like variable, or, people need access to credit, right? It needs to go up, it needs to go down, so on and so forth. And I can understand that argument, right? If there's a hard money standard like Bitcoin, not everybody is going to get access to credit, right? Which could falter the economy. Now, what if we could build a system like that, though, on top of Bitcoin, right? So there's two scenarios playing out here. Maybe the hard money people, commodity money, are right. Bitcoin is just the money. We don't need a dollar. We don't need a fiat system. It should have been gold, but gold was limited by being able to transfer it, being able to conduct business in it, so on and so forth. And they say, inflation is bad for the economy, whereas this guy is somewhere in the middle. He doesn't necessarily say inflation is good, inflation is bad. He's just talking about the elasticity of the commodity. And that relates back to the time value of money, because he talks about the euro dollar. So the euro dollar is basically the dollar system that we have without the Federal Reserve. So in the United States, we had the Federal Reserve setting the rates and the time value of money, right? Which can become political, which can give issues because it forms bubbles, misallocation of capital. In the euro dollar system, though, it forms its own rate curve, right? How much do I need to get paid back to give you this money, right? That's the time value of money, and that's where this curve that we look at as like yield and so on and so forth. So to harp on that further, Chris Berninsky, real prominent guy, he says, as with life, it typically less about us than we think, right? So this is the liquidity cycle. So there's all sorts of problems with this liquidity cycle because we try to prevent it. We give certain groups money. We choose winners. We choose losers, right? For example, the Fed is bailing out banks without telling us in certain instances. Now, I can't prove all this, but it seems from the sources I've gathered, they're doing like stealth QE, okay? Now, a lot of people talk about this like Balaji, so I'm not just saying this, I'm not just making this up, right? But still, we have this conundrum. Do we have hard money or do we have elastic variable money? I don't think it matters, right? Because Bitcoin can still thrive in either environment. And that's because of something I've been talking about, which is Bitcoin DeFi. And I also made a video a month ago talking about this when I said, is Alex and SOV worth hundreds of billions? And I should have put Arkadiko in there as well because they're doing a stable coin, right? So again, Sovryn is a DeFi platform which has a stable coin. The chart looks insane. I made this I tweeted this the other day. We are here, right? This is Sovryn at Bitcoin DeFi. Arkadiko, right, is another play. Now, is it going to happen on Bitcoin? I don't know. Is it going to happen on Ethereum? I don't think so. It's not decentralized enough. I think that's the problem with what we have now. The Fed is a central figure setting the time value of money. So, how does Bitcoin win, right? We have to bridge this gap between the two people in order to make an economic system that people can live with, right? Clearly, you could see there's problems with the fiat system by now, right? You have the Cantillon effect, which is people close to the printer get all the outsized gains. They buy all the assets. They cause asset inflation, right? So on and so forth. They pick winners and losers. But if we go to commodity money and nobody has access to credit, I could see how that's a problem. I'm not saying it is. Maybe I'm missing something. Jeff Booth is a deflationary Bitcoin guy who says, no, we only need Bitcoin. I'm not sure yet. I don't know who I believe, right? Do I believe this guy or do I believe, you know what I mean? This guy, right? Which is just no fiat system, right? I don't think it matters. I think we can eliminate all this guessing, right, by creating the euro dollar on Bitcoin, right? Liquidity cycles, I think, are going to go away because you don't have some guy, you know, raising rates fast, raising rates lower, injecting liquidity without telling, taking liquidity away without telling. All right, that doesn't mean we won't have a business cycle, but the market could fluctuate and the demand can change organically rather forced through a centralized figure, right? So we can make this more fair system. Now, if you look all over the world, why are some countries thriving, right? And some countries are suffering, right? For example, the U.S. generally has a populace that has a higher living standard than, say, Africa, right? Now, why could that be? Could it be because of fiat money is less inflationary, or we export our inflation to that country, or we give them, you know, shark loans or whatever? Sure, all those things could be possible. And that's what a Bitcoiner would say. But it also could be because we have access to credit, right, via the Fed. And I'm just bouncing around here. We have access to credit with banks, blah, blah, blah. And they don't have access. So if they, now Bitcoin is giving them an option, right? They've got Bitcoin to protect them from that inflation, that fiat money, hyperinflation. But they also have access to Bitcoin DeFi, if we can build it, and give them access to credit markets and loans and so on and so forth. Now, there's a lot of problems associated with this still. Like, you know, how is somebody going to get access to credit? How are they credit worthy if they don't have any Bitcoin? Do they have a job? So on and so forth. I think those things will come with decentralized identities and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to throw this information out there that it doesn't have to be commodity money or fiat money, right? Which is what this guy is saying, right? This guy is generally saying Bitcoin won't replace because, you know, you need to have some type of elasticity. So I'm sorry this is not an entertaining video. I'm just giving my thoughts on why, again, Bitcoin DeFi is so important, right? Because no matter where we fall, whether it's Bitcoin or fiat, right, Bitcoin can be used to make the system more fair. And that's just my thoughts. I hope you guys understand me a little bit. It's kind of hard to follow my train of thoughts, but I haven't figured this all out myself. I just have a hunch, right, that this can help both. This can bridge the gap, right? Take away the Fed, make a true market, true time value of money, even with fiat or maybe with Bitcoin. I don't know. You can call me hunch.